Hey there, comic fans. I'm back from the comic shop again this week. There was another big week for me at the comic shop. Got 8 comics, pulled a couple off the shelf. There was one that was late, so I think I only had 5 on my pull list, but the sixth was a late one from my pull list, and I pulled 2 off the shelf. But first, let me show you the comic in my museum spot this week on top of my printer. Marvel Premiere number 2, The Power of Warlock. Nice cover. Gil Kane and Joe Sinnott. I had guessed it was Joe Sinnott inks because of that nice smooth look it had. Looks like his inks. I just looked it up just before I went on. I was like, I never looked that up to make sure it was Sinnott, and it was. He's credited for it. So really nice Gil Kane and Joe Sinnott cover on that. It was fun looking at this one for a week. I forgot I even had this cover. I was just looking around my collection. I was like, oh, look at that. That one's nice. I want to have that one out. So got that one out for a week. Now, I think there's 2 comic shop newses in here. I didn't get one last week. Oh, there we go. They must have been coming in late. There's 1750 and 1751. There's 1750. The Squadron Supreme, Heroes Reborn, and 1751. The Invincible Red Sonja. Probably got lots of stuff to look at in each of these. There's Stargirl. What do we got here? Let's just flip it open and see. Shang-Chi. Good stuff. I'll have fun looking through those, see what's coming out. And then, what did I get at the comic shop this week? Got Serial number 2. Guess it's finally hit my pull list now. I got the second print of number 1 last week or the week before. It was good. It's about this. This is there's a woman. Well, she's really like a thousands of year old demon who's inhabiting the body of a 12-year-old girl, and it's somehow her story. And there was this other woman who seems to be some sort of serial killer who was, or maybe not. I don't know. She was getting revenge on some guy who was hitting on her, but then she got on a motorcycle. I can't always tell what these are gonna be about. But good first issue. Look forward to the second one. It's a 10-issue series, and this is the one that came in this week that was shorted a couple weeks ago. Dead End Kids, The Suburban Job number 2. About a bunch of suburban kids who find a bag of money that has to do with drugs. Liked the first issue. I think it's just a 4-issue mini. I'm not even sure, but sort of, crime stuff. Who does it? Google, Svidikanen, Reinhardt, Frank Google, art and color by Nenad Svidikanen. Okay. Letters by Sean Reinhardt. Like the first issue. So, Source Point Press. So we'll go on with it and see how it is. Then a number 1 I picked up off the shelf. This is the Julian March book. And this is the Milo Manara cover. The naked flying butt caught my eye, so I got this version of the cover. Looks like weird stuff. I've never read anything by Julian March. I know he's done a lot of covers. He's got a book of his collected covers that he's done for DC, but I was like, you know what? That Milo Manara cover caught my eye, so I picked it up, and we'll see what it's about. What else do we got? Oh, the last issue of Norse Mythology. Issue 6 of 6. Who's doing it this issue? Craig Russell, of course, is adapting Neil Gaiman's stuff, and he does the layouts. Oh, art and colors by Jill Thompson. And a variant cover. There's a Craig Russell cover. Variant cover by David Mack. It's always. I've enjoyed this whole series. Sort of straightforward tales of Norse mythology. They told you what the stories the ancient Norse used to tell. So good stuff. Then we've got Homesick Pilots, issue number 4. I've been enjoying this one. It's as much about the punk rock music scene. When did this take place? Late 80s, early 90s, sometime around there. It's as much about that as it is about this crazy ghost tale that's going on. The guy just got turned into some sort of VCR monster, some sort of digital tape monster. I've liked it. It's fun stuff. Dead End Video, the Nuclear Bastards. Just who does this one? Writer Dan Waters, artist Casper Wingegaard, with Aditya Bidikar, letterer. All right. Fun stuff. I've been enjoying it. Issue 4. We'll keep going with it. And look, an issue of The Goon came out. I wonder if Eric Powell did. I think, yeah, Eric. Diabolical Dr. Alloy returns to rise again once more. And this one is actually by Eric Powell. The last 4 issues have had artists, good artists, I forget who it was, who was drawing sort of in this Eric Powell style, but wasn't Eric Powell. So I'm glad to see he's back doing the book. Good stuff. I always enjoy The Goon, so I'll enjoy that one. And here we go. The sort of prologue continuation of Birthright 47. The big war is over. I think this is going up to issue 50. And Joshua Williamson, Andre Bresson, Andrea Lucas on colors, Pat Brousseau, the letterer. And, they're hunting. Listen, I think one of their friends just turned into this monster, if I remember the cliffhanger from last issue. They're the sort of the remnants of the big war is still happening on Earth that they have to deal with. So I think that's what they're wrapping up in these final few issues. Plus, his parents somehow got stuck on the other world. So there's stuff to wrap up, and they're wrapping it up. Then let's see the next thing I pulled off the shelf. Not a huge fan of the trade dress on this cover, this purple with all the little white bits sticking out. But this is Heavy Metal Elements, and it's by Michelle Sears and Bart Sears. And these are, I think they take one of the stories that they run over a few issues of Heavy Metal magazine, and they gather it together in this one magazine-sized comic for $4, so it's not expensive. And I just said, I want to try one of these. Why not? I'll pick this one up. I flipped through it. I'm not a huge Bart Sears fan, but I liked the artwork in this. So I have to say, this is some of the better Bart Sears artwork I've seen. But nice little magazine-sized comic, saddle stitch rather than square bound, and that's what I like. So you know what? I said I'm going to give it. There's a nice. Like I said, really nice art in this. Some good stuff. No idea what the story's about. There's a little description on the back, but I didn't bother to read it. There you go. Now let me show you a little artwork. Here, I did something a little different this week. I decided to take one of my little drawings and blow it up big. And I actually made... It's funny because I penciled this, but didn't ink it and letter it and everything. After I penciled it, I blew it up to this size. Whoops! Falling down. I blew it up to this size and inked it here, and that's all colored ink I used on it. Lettered it with a brush that big, too. Just because, I don't know, it's just sort of whimsically. It said, I want to take one of my small cards and blow it up big. And I actually got a small card, but all of them were too small. I was like, these will never blow up right, so let me redraw one. So I redrew one, and ended up with that. It's just an amusement. I think it isn't. It's kind of not as involving as my other big ink drawings, but for some reason it's kind of like an amusement. Like I said, it was a whim, so I enjoyed doing it, and I enjoy the fact that it looks big now. I mean, I got a small version and a big version. And the small version actually says something different too. And it's funny, I can put them right up against one another. And you can see the lines are quite different on them. Lines are a lot thicker in the small version and thinner on the big version. But that's one of the differences between big and small sometimes, is the size of your... And I was deciding if I should make all these lines thicker or not. And I said, you know what? I'll leave them like that. But anyway, there's a little art. There's a little bit of comics. And you guys have a good week out there.